Good morning. This is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV. It's time for the Mayor's Report, and with us back in the seat is Mayor Mike Beamish. Good morning.
Well, I'm back in the seat, but I understand last week was a pretty good show.
We did have a good show last week. I got to say, a lot of information with Tom Funderburg about the Festival of Nations that's coming up on August 20th. And then we had Jerry Mullins in too, and he sang a song. Now, that was the first time that we've been graced with his guitar and his voice here in the studio, but he does that a lot.
Well, and if you don't know, Jerry is the general chairman of this year's Festival of Nations.
That's right.
And so he's very creative, and he develops songs for a lot of different reasons and a lot of different folks. Even retired employees from Troy always get a ballad from Jerry Mullins. So I haven't heard it yet, but I understand it's just wonderful.
It is. It's a great song, and you can catch it on the Mayor's Report from last week on TCTV on demand. So you can go online. There's a video up. David Denoyer has that posted. So anyone who has not seen it, you can see it. I know Jerry Mullins' wife shared it on Facebook as well, so she's getting it out there too.
Well, it'll probably be one of the promo songs that leads into the Festival of Nations. And I want to thank you, Clint and David, for making all that happen and certainly continuing to promote the many, many events that the Troy community has to offer here in Troy, Ohio, USA.
And then if anyone wants a CD copy for the repertoire, you know, I've got those for $9.99 here.
Well, Jerry, is he getting royalties on that song?
Yes.
Okay, of course, of course.
All right, Mayor, you had council this week.
We did have council. It was a rather short meeting, but we had 7 members present for council. This is vacation season, but we had a public hearing. The public hearing is to deal with an abandoned railroad property that's south of East Race Drive, Jeep Street, that area of town.
Okay.
Habitat for Humanity owns that and wants to sell it off. There's a business that is interested in purchasing, but before they can do that, it has to be rezoned from R5 single residential district to an M2 light industrial district. Now, here's the thing. At one point, that area was M2, and when Habitat wanted to put some houses in that area, it was rezoned again to an R5. So basically, we're going back to original
what it was.
zoning. Now, there were many people, pro and con, to discuss, wanted to know some information on that, what it is, and most of them were asking, what's the use of? Well, what we're doing right now is just looking at rezoning it. Then they have to come to a plan of how they're going to do whatever they're going to use that property for, but it's basically to help for a resale to a business that's interested in that property, and Habitat wants to sell it off. So there will, and by the time we have this session of the Mayor's Report, the Law and Ordinance Committee will have met to discuss that rezoning issue, and that was one of our ordinances that was on our docket. So it moved to a third reading in lieu of having a Law and Ordinance meeting, which will have taken place. So maybe next week we can discuss how that recommendation went to full council.
Okay, so it's essentially going from what it originally was back to what it originally was.
That sounds like what it was.
Okay.
A lot of wases in there.
Okay.
But we also had, and we've talked about both of these dedications of right-of-way. One is on Troy-Sydney Road, and the other is on East Staunton Road. It's pretty routine, and it met with a unanimous vote of council moving forward with those 2 pieces of ordinance. The other one was, and we've discussed this in the past from committee reports, deposit in of public funds into some of our banking institutions.
Yes.
We have a timeline on that. That was emergency legislation due to a timeline presented by the auditor, and that again met with the unanimous vote. The final thing was finalizing the sale of a part of Duke Park North. That's the old Hughes Camp Farm area.
All right.
And selling off a part of that to the Miami County Park District. And that was pretty routine. It was emergency because we want to get that all moving forward. And that met with a 7-0 vote as well of Troy City Council. That pretty much was, we had no resolutions. That was just an ordinances. One moved on to a third reading, the other passed unanimously.
Okay. Now you had some good information, some happenings here in the area that you shared with council.
Well, I want to share one because a lot of people, we live in a great community, and we know we talk about it all the time, but outside survey groups do surveys of different places in the Midwest and around the country. And one of the surveys that was just done, this was handed to me by a distinguished citizen, Ozzy Haddad, and thought it would be good to share, and I shared this with council. But they were talking about great places to live in Ohio, and they focused on Ohio. And they asked the question, which local city is the happiest city to, and they based it on 7 criteria. And this was an outside, wasn't our local
This is
survey.
no one local. This is someone coming in from
survey.
the outside.
It was limited to populations of 20,000 or higher.
Okay.
And what that came down to is one of the great places to live is Troy, Ohio. We were in a state of Ohio 7th on in the whole of 20,000 or more cities.
Wow.
As a place where people think is the happiest place to live, raise a family. And I'm proud of that. In the southwest area, we came in 2nd, only to Beaver Creek. And there's some great communities we all know
Yes.
in Miami County and throughout the whole Miami Valley region. Centerville always promotes themselves as warm and friendly, and they are, but we ranked a little higher than they did. So it's something to be proud of. At least it gives an indicator of somebody who's done the survey feels that Troy is a happy place to be.
That tells me we're getting something right.
We must be doing, and I want to thank Ozzy Haddad. He obviously did the survey or the research and pulled that off, and that's relatively new. That was done in July of this year, so it's a relatively new survey. So I thought that started us off on a happy note.
Absolutely.
Happy note, but at our last River Rock concert, it was our concert that we had in Treasure Island, Dr. Sarah Hippensteel Hall, she's the manager of the watershed partnerships of the Miami Conservancy District. She presented the city of Troy and all of us in Miami County with a special award. It came from the U.S. Secretary of Interior, and it is the first in Ohio to receive this award, and it's the Great Miami Watershed Trail has just been designated a national water trail system.
Wow.
And we may not think that's a big honor, but when you don't have mountains and you don't have oceans, you have a river, and they base it on what are you doing to enhance the river. And they designated, and she presented us with a award from the U.S. Department of Interior that says we are now a national water trail system.
Excellent.
For our efforts in developing recreation and the river development. So I'm very honored to accept that. It's a part of a long, like I said, it's the first in Ohio, and it goes along the Great Miami River. So I'm very proud to receive that, and I'm proud that she came at the River Rock concert to present that to us. So that was the second bit of really good news.
And that was a really good concert too.
It was a great concert. And boy, I tell you, we had 3 wonderful concerts down Treasure Island at the new amphitheater. well-attended events,
Yes.
regardless of the heat and humidity.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you what. It was warm, more than warm to start with. But once the sun did go down behind the levee, there was a nice cool breeze, and just sat back and listened to the music.
And people just seem to enjoy it. I mean,
It's a great time.
And we'll be planning other events, and we'll talk about some of the events coming up in August.
Okay.
But I also, at the last council meeting, not this past one, but the previous one, you and I talked about, I was sending a letter. This was when the tragedies occurred in France.
Yes.
And we sent a letter on behalf of the citizens of Troy, Ohio, Miami County, and the elected officials. I sent a letter on behalf of all of us to the ambassador of France, and to show our solidarity and certainly condolences for the tragedies that took place.
Absolutely.
And we've had a number of them, both nationally as well as internationally. Received a card back from the ambassador from France.
Nice.
And if I can, I just like to read a part of that
You
to
go right
everybody,
ahead.
so everybody knows that we're in this together for peace and harmony in this world. And it goes like this: we are very moved by your message of sympathy and solidarity with the French people following the terrorist attacks that took place in France. On behalf of the President of the French Republic, the French government, and the French people, I would like to thank you very much for your support. France will continue to combat terrorism, anti-Semitism, and any forces that seek to attack our shared values of freedom, democracy, and human rights. Yours sincerely, and he has signed his name as ambassador from France. And that speaks volumes to all of us and how they felt the warmth and care and love from our people here in Troy, Ohio, for the terrible attacks that took place. And we have them in our own country.
Yes.
So we have to constantly think and look forward to peace in this world and harmony amongst all people.
We're all
people.
We're all riding the same rock, the third rock from the sun.
Good
So
point,
we're
Ken.
not going, and we can't go anywhere else. So I think the only option is that everyone has to learn how to get along.
And one of our mottos is be kind.
Yes.
If people just reach out and look at the brighter side of things, it's so easy to look at the bad things, the down things, but we need to look at what can we do to be a better world. And the best way to start, as you just said, Clint, is be nice to people.
Well, when you look at it, it's really easy. Anybody can be nasty. It doesn't take any effort at all. What takes effort is to be kind and to be generous and to be nice.
You can't say it any better, Clint. I appreciate you. I appreciate Dave. This is what you do as part of the Troy Community Radio. You promote community events, activities that bring people together in harmony. And yes, are the things we can get better? Yes, definitely. And we need solutions and how to do that. That's the way you solve problems.
Working at it.
Working together.
If you don't want to put any effort into it, well, then that's what you get out of it. But if you're putting the effort in, it's amazing what you get out.
But I think that was a positive reaction to a letter that showed solidarity and our same wish for peace and harmony throughout this land and this world.
In the same way that you had sent the letter from the people of Troy to get the response back.
To get a response back says that it meant something.
Yes. All right, we've got quite a few events that are going to be coming up. Summer is not over yet.
It seemed like July flew by. We had so many activities, both downtown Troy, at Treasure Island, at Hainer Cultural Center. All around, there seems to be something for all people, for all ages.
For sure, the Lucky Lemonade concerts and the summer concert series just wrapped up. I won't say wrapped up yet, because we've got another big one coming. But we had Hotel California downtown last night.
Yes.
And the mayor's concert is still coming.
That's coming on the 21st of August. We'll talk a little bit about some of the August, but you're right. We're going to close down the whole entire downtown. The Dayton Philharmonic comes. Patrick Reynolds, the maestro from the Dayton Philharmonic, and he brings the chorus with him. It's a wonderful opportunity on August 21st to gather. That'll be at 7 o'clock in the evening, downtown, Prouty Plaza, as well as the downtown area. But that's not the only time. We also have what I think is wonderful, Air Force Band of Flight. Now, they have broken their groups into smaller groups now. And in fact, I understand that Congress is even looking at disbanding military bands. So I would say if somebody loves the Air Force Band of Flight,
they
first
better
of all,
get
come
out
to the concert, and then let the Congress, your Congress reps know that the military bands provide a great service for our military as well as the civilian, like
morale, the morale of the civilians.
Yeah, patriotism.
Yes.
It's alive and well, and the Air Force Band of Flight, this year the Systems Go group will provide a rock band concert. It'll be downtown. They've come for years. They love Troy, and they will be here at 7 o'clock on August the 10th.
Okay.
August the 10th. So mark your calendars for that big event. Show your support for the military bands, and certainly let your representatives know how important the bands play in not only patriotism but for the military servicemen and women that are serving our country.
Absolutely.
So that's taking place. You mentioned Hotel California has already come and it's gone, and
great show.
Yes, and then we have the Air Force Band of Flight. I can't say enough about them coming to Troy year after year. They're booked a lot, but they love Troy. So let's come out and support them again on August the 10th at 7. And then let's follow that up with the Mayor's Concert on August the 21st at 7 o'clock. Both of those downtown Troy, Prouty Plaza.
I'll add this, because this part is the announcer's part where they go, but wait, that's not all.
Oh, that's not all. Let's go to Treasure Island. We still have a couple of big events coming there. First of all, the Civic Band concert. And if you haven't heard the Troy Civic Band, you need to come out.
It sounds so good down there.
Oh, and it's the right venue for them. It's quiet, it's peaceful. People should come out, listen to these professionals that are local professionals that just put on a great spectacular. And their next performance will be August the 14th. August the 14th down at Treasure Island Park. The scheduled time is 7:30 on that day.
Oh, I have 7 p.m. This is what Bill wrote.
Bill wrote it. Well, let's
Bill
go get there early or get there on time at 7 o'clock. I have 7:30. He has 7. Let's go with 7.
Okay, that way people they're in their seats
and they can hear the warm-ups.
Yes.
And Bill's quite the character, so he'll entertain the audience as well, I'm sure. We have a canoe float that's taking place on August the 20th down at Treasure Island Park. It's kind of the River Appreciation Day, if you want to call that. It's going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I invite people to just get out on the river. Ventures of the Great Miami have started a livery there, and they have, they have inner tubes, they have...
I want to get on one of those. It looks
like
a bicycle.
It's like a bicycle
with a couple skis.
That's right, and that's fun. Kayaks, canoes. But if you just want to get out and just enjoy what the river has to offer and the look, you've mentioned this many times, Clint. If you go to Treasure Island and you just look down the river to the downtown area, the scenery itself is just a calming, peaceful place to be.
You know, I said I didn't think it could get any better, but when you're talking about Adventures on the Great Miami down there with their livery, when you look down that same shot down the corridor and you see people out on the water, to me that makes it right there. It's already being used. Everything is in full swing down there.
And it's just the beginning. We hope to bring a lot of activities, both on land and in the water, and on our recreational trail system. We're very blessed to have all three components in Troy, Ohio, and throughout the northern Miami Valley, going all the way through Dayton with Riverscape there, and
Yes.
Miamisburg and West Carrollton. So it's got great opportunities. That's probably why we've been designated as a National Water Trail.
If anyone hasn't been down there, I plead with you, you have got to go down and check it out before you can just say, "Oh, I wouldn't."
Or it's going to always flood.
Yeah.
We need rain, to be honest with you.
Right now, we wish we had a big rainstorm down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been dry all summer. This has been the first season. It's gotten off to a really good start down there. It is so gorgeous. The grass, I love the
It's
fact
growing.
that everything is grown in, even though it has been so dry.
It has been dry.
It has been great to see the crowds. The staff from Hobart Arena over doing the adult beverages when there are concerts down there. Everything that I have witnessed and taken a part in absolutely has worked just like you had said it would.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, and what we're trying to do is bring people into our community, and hopefully they'll want to stay in our community and accept. We've got plenty of opportunities for jobs here in Troy. We've got a great business industrial community going, expanding all the time. And so we have a lot to offer in a small Midwestern town, as we always started the program with big town taste, with all the concerts, events, activities. We got Hobart Arena being refurbished.
And thinking of that, when you see Hera Arena, which who is now closing, but I look at our own arena as it's growing,
Yes.
and the possibility that some of those venues would possibly come here.
Very possibly, and I will say, you mentioned Ken Seiler, Kerry Slater.
Yes.
Those two have done a remarkable job of promoting the historic Hobart Arena in so many different ways, which is what I've always wanted to see. Things for people of all ages,
Yes.
across the board in activity. And they've done a remarkable job, not only helping to promote Treasure Island, but also building on Hobart Arena for the future. And so it's good. Now, we started talking about Festival of Nations.
Oh,
and
okay.
Jerry Mullins is our general
Yes.
chair, and I hope people get to listen to his song. But Festival of Nations is also a big activity in August. That'll be on the levee. So on the levee top behind the stadium.
Yes.
But that'll be from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. And they'll have entertainment venue there going on throughout the day. There are, as he shared in his song, that people can listen to, all the countries that are going to be available with their heritage, their customs, their costume,
Their food.
Yeah, we both said that together. Their food. I was savoring that for last.
Yes.
But it again is another opportunity to celebrate our diversity as a community.
For sure. Festival of Nations, that's coming up Saturday, August 20th. Another one to mark on your calendar. All the events coming up in August look just wonderful.
So we have activities on levee, we have activities downtown, we have activities on Treasure Island Park. So we've got a lot of opportunities for people to just sit back, relax, enjoy the ambiance of Troy, Ohio, USA.
And a lot of things that we're hearing right now, because we're going to be headed to it very soon. School is going to be back in by the end of the month.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, list that as one of the items.
Well, the kids wouldn't look at that as a very maybe fun activity.
But parents will need to mark that on their
Yes.
calendar. But all these activities are going to take place prior to school start.
Yes.
But once school starts, just tell everybody this athletic season, the fall sports season, really comes alive with football, soccer, both men and women, and all the fall activities that take place. So there's a lot of things yet to come.
And the one thing that we didn't mention, and that is the Miami County Fair starts on the 12th.
Let's add that to the mix.
So there's so many things that are going to be going on right here, Troy and Miami
Don't have
County.
to go too far, do you, Clint?
No, you don't. And Mayor, thank you so much for stopping in this morning.
I want to thank you, Clint. Again, thank Dave for Dave. You see him everywhere too, and between the two of you, promoting our community and the events and activities that we have. So thank you.
Thank you. This has been the Mayor's Report. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV.